This video is brought to you by the FarmerKlein YouTube channel. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment.
Hello everybody, welcome back to our Farming Simulator 22 Map First Impressions video. Today we're going to take a look at Backroads County 4X. But before that, this video is brought to you by Chasey Dog and Peter Does Farming. Thank you for being farm barons. So the Backroads County 4X map can be found over at the FarmingSimulator.com website or the in-game downloadable content menu. And as of the 1.0 release, this map is available for PC players only. Now this will likely stay as a PC only map because it is a 4X map, and we have yet to see a 4X map be released for console for Farming Simulator 22. Maybe in whatever comes next, if Giants drop support for the old platforms, the PS4 and the Xbox One, then maybe we'll see 4X maps come to consoles in whatever comes next. But as of Farm Sim 22, pretty much if it's a 4X map, it's going to be available for PC players. Let me read you the description. Welcome to Backroads County 4X, a fictional 4X US-Canada inspired map placed out in the backroads farming industry. There you'll find one pre-built farm surrounded with farmland and forestry. This map includes one pre-built farm, and I'll add that there are several building sites where you can put additional farms down if you do want to play in multiplayer, or maybe you just want to start with a little bit smaller bit of land. There's a line by point, woodland for forestry, sawmill, 81 fields, precision farming ready, stone quarry, and 2 train silos. Now, this map does have a required mod. It is not listed on the download page, but you will need to download the Red Barn Pack if you are going to want to use this map. I mention this because it is critical if you're going to put this map up on a dedicated server that you know in advance that you need the Red Barn Pack, because when you load the map up on a dedicated server, it's going to fail to start, and the error message you're going to get is basically something like, I don't have all the required mods. Thanks. And then you're left trying to figure out what on earth you need because it doesn't tell you. Nor does it also go ahead and just grab those for you and put them on the server. At least last time I tried adding a map that didn't have all the required mods already up on the server. So it is important if you're going to put this on a server, and I do believe that this map is a very good candidate for a dedicated server, that you understand that you do need to add and upload the Red Barn Pack to your mods list on that server. In addition to the Red Barn Pack, we are going to be using the mods we typically use when we take a look at maps. They are additional field info, additional game settings, animal food overview, field lease, field calculator, precision farming, and straw harvest. Now, I'll tell you, if you load this map up in farm manager mode or start from scratch, you will find that the main farm is built out exactly how you're going to see it here in new farmer mode. In addition, you do have all of your starting machinery in all play modes. So the only differences are going to be that you do not own any land in those alternate game modes, and of course, your bank balance. Now, we'll tell you the starting farmland is quite expensive, and it's going to be more expensive than your bank balance for Farm Manager. So I really do recommend that you go ahead and just start in new farmer mode and work from there. When you load in for the very first time, you do start here at the main starting farm. And while it looks like you have 2 fields, field 64 and 63, what you actually have is a huge area of grass in field area 63, 116 acres of grass, and area 64, at least every time I load it up, has been a huge area of dirt. It's not a field, it's just dirt. It's basically a massive building site. 100+ acres of building site. 106 acres to be exact, according to field info. So if you do want to make use of field 64 as a field, you will need to drop a plow, you will need to enable create fields, and basically run along the edge, and then obviously fill that all out. Maybe the map author will drop a comment and explain what's going on with field 64 and what it's supposed to be intended for, but it does leave me a little curious as to what's going on. Let's go ahead and take a look at the map itself. And before we zoom out, I do want to basically show you that this is the original map, starting from about here, working our way across, because the shop was up here in the northwest corner. We had a farm here just north of Field 25. That is now a building site. The original map came over here to just about where this forested area is. Came down. We had a field or a farm over here right beside Field 4. That is now a building site. The map continued down just below here, the Sawmill. Here we had several sell points and a town area. That is now just kind of grass, but actually there are several building sites down here as well. We had the gas station, we had a sell point, then we had a farm tucked in behind that. That is now just grass. We had a farm over here. That's the farm I played when I played on this map. That is now just a building site. And the main starting farm was located right here. That is also now a building site. So if we expand out, we can now see how the rest of this map has been built around what was the original Backroads County. This map does have all the standard crops available to us in Farm Sim 22. And if we go ahead and take a look at our lands, you'll see we start up by owning Farmland 94, a massive piece of farmland. In fact, it is 286 acres in size, and it's going to cost $1.7 million to buy. In addition, we do have several building sites laid out across the map. Building site 10, where we had a previous farm built out in the original version of the map, can be bought for $440,000. Building site 1, or Farmland ID 1, can be bought for $1 million. Farmland ID 18. Well, let's just jump up here. Farmland ID 27 is $1.2 million. Farmland ID 29, which is another previous farm, is $135,000. We also had Farmland ID 32, 33, 34, all the way up to 39. This is down here where we had the town area. That is now all buyable sites. They are all fairly cheap, between $19,000 and $41,000. We have Farmland ID 50, which has a building site for $1 million. We have Farmland ID 44, which is also a building site for $550,000. We have Farmland ID 62, which is an additional building site for $497,000. We have Farmland ID 18. That was the original farm. That's what I was looking for earlier. That can be bought for $202,000. So there are lots of options on this map with respect to building out alternate farms. Let's go ahead and take a look at our farmland lease screen. This is going to show us all of the viable farmlands, how large those farmlands are, if those farmlands include any fields, which fields are included, then ultimately how much is it going to cost to buy this farmland. We're then going to go and cross-reference all of these fields with our field calculator screen, which is going to show us the specific sizes of each particular field. Here we have the field calculator screen, and we can see now all the sizes of each particular field. And then, like I said, we cross-reference this with the field calculator screen and the farmland lease screen to see which farmland is tied to any one particular field. Let's go ahead and take a look at our custom soil map. As you can see, the two farmlands, or the two areas that we own, are going to be loamy sand and sandy loam. And then we've got a good chunk of loam, silty clay, and sandy loam where the main map used to be. And then we've got a nice spattering of soil types around that. Let's go ahead and take a look at our crop counter. We do have the standard crop counter available to us here on this particular map. And if we go down through our prices screen, you will see that we do indeed have the ability to sell all of our basic game crops that are available to us in Farm Sim 22, as well as our eggs, wool, and milk, and our silage, hay, straw, and grass. As we move down through all of the base game productions, we once again do indeed have the ability to sell all of our base game production items that are again available to us in FS22. In addition, we do have the ability to buy bulk lime, as well as get rid of our stones at 2 particular locations. Now, with respect to the Platinum expansion, we do indeed have the ability to sell all of the Platinum expansion production items as well. So if you want to put down any Platinum expansion production items, do note you will be able to sell all of those at Johnson's Farmers Market. With respect to the Premium expansion production and crops, we do have the ability to sell those at multiple sell points. If you are playing with pumps and hoses, we do have the ability of getting rid of your separated manure. And if you are playing with straw harvest, we do have the ability to get rid of our hay and straw pellets as well. Looking at our prices screen, we do indeed have the ability. Looking at our vehicle overview, we do own all of our machinery. None of it is leased. It is all well maintained. We do have a cow barn at our starting farm, but we do not own any cows in that farm. We have contracts available on this map, and we do not own any productions. And lastly, this map does not have any collectibles. Let's go ahead and take a look at our starting fleet. We started with the Massey Ferguson 8S 205 and the 3670 medium tractors. We have the John Deere 7R 350 and the Case Magnum 340 CVX drive large tractors. We've got the Mack Superliner 6x4 semi, and for that we also have the Wilson Pacesetter trailer. We have the Axleflow 9250 harvester, and for that we have the 45-foot draper header for our grain. We've got the Bruin 4200 self-propelled sprayer. That's going to be for our liquid herbicide and liquid fertilizer. With a Kloss Scorpion 1033 telehandler. Our 1986 pickup truck. We've got the ULW 4000 auger wagon. We also have the Scorpio 550 stone collector. We have the PW 112 Cleveland plow, as well as the K12 200 cultivator and the Amazon Citan 15001 C seeder. For our planting needs, we have the John Deere 1775 NT. We have the Dalvo Mega Roll 2430 roller, as well as the Podger NovaCat A10 Crossflow butterfly mowers and the NovaCat 301 AM ED Pro front mower. We have the GA 15131 windrower, as well as the Massey Ferguson RB 4160V ProTech round baler and wrapper combination. With a Fairson PF 2.24 Plus TMR mixer. For our telehandler, we have a universal bucket, pallet, and bale forks. We have a 1,500 kilogram front weight, and we have the Bachmann MH AL 4320/35 trailer. Now, this map does not have any custom vehicles or implements. Let's go ahead and take a look at our farm here. Our farmhouse is going to have a sleep trigger here at the front door. And then we have along the side a wardrobe trigger. With respect to being able to customize this farm, you can sell all the buildings. You can also sell all of the light poles. What I was not able to sell, I tried a lot, is getting rid of these fences. Now, the fences are not really in that big of a way, so I don't think that's really going to impact your ability to customize this area. We've got a 3-bay garage over here with our power washer and a service trigger. Got some more machine storage in the first barn we come to. And then this barn also has attached to it our silo. So we have our dump point and our fill pipe located right there. We have our fuel tank and then more vehicle and implement storage. Then we have our cow barn. So along the side over here, we have our manure heap, as well as our dairy trigger for our milk. Inside here we have our food trough trigger, and this is going to be our straw trigger. See, we have our mixer in here. This is going to be our slurry trigger. We have storage silos for liquid fertilizer, solid fertilizer, and then seed or mineral feed. And this one does have 10,000 liters of seed in it. On the second level of the barn, we do have bale storage. Total of 300 bales or pallets can be stored up here. And then this is going to be a quick way of getting those straw bales down to that trigger. Then along the side of the barn, we do have our delivery trigger for our cows. 500 total cows in this facility. Then we have a water trough. That is pretty much the starting farm. And as I mentioned, you can sell all these buildings. The only thing you can't get rid of is this fence that kind of runs around the treed area, and this fence right here that is also going to be permanent. So that might be the only fence that really is going to be remotely in your way with respect to customizing this area out. And as I also mentioned, this area is completely built out in all play modes. Now let's go and check the build mode, because the red barn pack does include quite a number of buildings. Of course, they are not built into the map. They are a required mod though. So there are several sheds here that are a part of that red barn pack. We also have several sheds that have silos built in that are part of the red barn pack. We do have our storage containers that are a part of the map. And then we have our custom farmhouse that again is part of the red barn pack. We do not have any custom production or sell points, greenhouses, or orchards. There are several animal areas that are associated with, again, that red barn pack. And if we take a look at our ground textures, we have fairly standard ground textures that are available on this map, including a stamped concrete, and then fairly standard plants as well. Let's get a little bit more altitude, and you can see the scale of this large dirt area that is kind of flagged as field 64. But since we don't have field info popping up, this is technically not a field until you go and drop a plow again in create fields mode. So we continue over here to the west a little bit. Across this line of trees, we're going to enter where the old map used to be. Anyone that is remembering the original Backroads County standard size map will know that there was a farm built out here that is now a building site. Off in the distance, we have our animal dealer and some sell points that again was associated with the original map. For the fly around portion, we are just going to kind of work on the outside area of the map, which would be the new area. We have a large diner sell point located right here, as well as a fuel point. A new grain sell point. Then as we move across, we can look across the map. Off in the distance, you can see the windy gravel road going up the mountainside over there. That is also where there's a large stone quarry. We'll get to that in a little bit. Diving down kind of where the original map was, we have the farm that was placed up here between fields 24 and 25. That again is now a building site. We have not our animal dealer, our vehicle dealer. Again, this was in the upper northwest corner of the original map. Here we have one of the 2 train silos. We also have a container sell point located below. So we have a train line that has now been added that runs up the western edge of the map as well as across the southern part of the map. You can see to the right all of the new fields. Basically everything to the right here is going to be new of this tree line. Everything to the left is basically the original map. Again, that was a pre-built farm that is now a building site. We have another building site coming up. I guess technically 2 building sites coming up. You see the ones here between 50 and 51, as well as the building site over there between 56 and 55. Now coming across the southern part of the map, you can see that mountainside or hillside off in the distance. You see where the stone quarry has been cut away. We have a new, our second, we have a new grain. No, sorry, this is not new. I'm sorry, it's getting a little disoriented because we don't have that area here where we used to have that other farm. Here we have the original grain sell point, and then the farmer's market, and the fuel station that was tied to the original map. Again, we had a farm just in behind that. Directly in front of us, we have our second train station, train silo. We have another sell point behind that, just set up kind of as a equestrian area. Here we can see the large train coming through here now. Several cars for grain transport. We also have several cars for log transport. And a few flatbed cars if you're going to sell off some pallets. So at our stone quarry, we have quite the pile of stone. So if you do own this land, you will be able to collect this stone and then further process it. And then up the cliffside, we have a rather well-populated kind of forest area here. And then you have the windy mountainous road winding its way down. So you could really clear this entire area if you wanted to. We have our starting farm directly ahead. Then we have our sawmill. Sawmill is actually the only production that is pre-placed on this map. But we have tons of areas where you could put additional production down. So the sawmill here, and then a little disappointed that we didn't have all of the sell points and production areas that were tied to the original map. They were all along this area. And again, this area contains viable farmland 32 through 39. So there are several viable plots right here. It's already fairly flat, ready for you to put down your own production or other items. So with that, we're going to fly back over to our vehicle dealer. We're going to pick up our Mahindra, and we're going to drive around to some of these points of interest. So down here at our agricultural dealer, we do have our dealer trigger. And we do have our maintenance trigger. Now the maintenance trigger is not marked out in any way. Let's go ahead and pull up the triggers there. You're going to see that it's directly in front of this door. So you're going to need to pull up in front of the service bay, if you will, if you do need to do maintenance, and then you're going to be able to activate it. Now, with respect to the original map, yeah, this was where our vehicles spawned in at. We've got a fairly large area for our machinery to spawn in at, so we shouldn't have too much terrible time with respect to buying larger machinery. And we've got a pretty decent sized area here for our machinery to get out of. Let's make our first stop over here at the second train silo. And while we're making our way over there, let's talk a little bit about our scoring. We're going to be getting the map at full point with respect to production being built in or areas set aside for such. We do have a fair bit of areas where we could put additional production down, a multitude of building sites for either farms or productions. So we will be getting the map at full point there. Here we have that container sell point. So kind of keeping with the Platinum expansion and having log containers. I believe that's where you're going to be able to sell your log containers. We have our train renting icon located right there. And then we have a train grain storage silo. And that's not where you're storing your grain. So we have our dump and our fill point here. We're transferring grain from R2 to a trailer. And then, of course, on the train line, you have the dump and fill points as well. And speaking of one of those building sites, we have one of those building sites over here between fields 41 and 42. It is all grass, but you can see we have quite a large area here where we could build out a pretty substantial farm because, again, this is a 4X map. With respect to the ability to sell all of our grain, crop inputs, animal outputs, and production points, we are going to give the map a full point as well because we do indeed have the ability to sell all of our grains, our space game crops, all of our animal outputs, as well as all of our base game productions. With respect to the farm being customizable, the main starting farm is completely customizable. The only issue is going to be those wooden fences. And overall, I don't feel that those wooden fences are necessarily in the way, per se. So I think you'll have quite a bit of customization available to you to really build out around those fences. Therefore, we're going to be giving the map a full point as well. We're diving down here where we are now into the main original map area. We're going to make our way over to the animal dealer. If we turn right here, that will lead us eventually around to one of those previous farm locations. We just passed the entryway to another previous farm location. And we're coming up to where the original farm was on the original map. Kind of like that we have, you know, kind of a reimagined Backroads County here. The map author didn't just take the original Backroads County and just completely slap some more land around it. But I do kind of wish that we did have that town built out down there. That would, in my opinion, kind of more solidify and bring the new Backroads County to also the old Backroads County. Then this was where we had then another farm on the original map. Again, is now a building site. So down here we're going to have our bale sell point, as well as an animal dealer sell point and animal buy point. We have our animal dealer buy point right there. We're going to take this road. This is going to run us right down by the original grain sell point, as well as the farmer's market, fuel station. And again, over to our right, we had kind of a built-in farm. It also had a small cow pasture right here that has also been removed. We have a dealer trigger, or maintenance trigger, diesel, fuel, our farmer's market. Here around the back. Our lime buy point. Located right here, as well as a grain dump station. And then to our left, we had that whole town area built out. We're going to go now back south, across what used to be the old map boundary. Now is a train line. This is going to put us in behind the second train transfer silo. Which is located over there. We do have another sell point here, which is set up as kind of an equestrian area. Mossy Pine Ranch. And then this road will take us over to the stone quarry, as well as up the Forestry mountain area. We have our sawmill. So we have our drop off for our logs. We have our wood cell trigger. We have our interactive icon, our spawn point for our pallets. We also then have a general log cell point and a wood chip spawn point. Now, I was so focused on beating the train that I missed the entrance into that second train silo. So again, we have now this silo, we have our dump point for our trailer. Inside, we have our fill pipe for our trailer outside. We have our rent train trigger there. Nice little kind of train yard. Then another container cell point. Fairly close to our logging area, which is good to see. Then now we'll just go up here to the various points of interest in the northeast corner. And so we'll drive past our starting farm. That's where we'll talk about our final two scoring metrics. With respect to the map having ground textures as well as buildings using the new texturing technique, we're going to be giving the map a full point there as well. I did take some time and looked at the red barn pack, and while some of the stone textures are flat, I do feel that the wood textures are using the new texturing technique. The farmhouse is just a reskin of the blue base game farmhouse. It's at Elm Creek, and then the couple of sheds are apparently reskins as well of Farm Sim 22 buildings. Then lastly, with respect to trigger and interactive areas being clearly marked, we are going to have to take off a quarter of a point, sadly, due to us not having marker icons at the vehicle dealer for our dealer trigger. So that's going to be giving this map a score of 4.75 out of 5. Really wanted to give this map a full 5 out of 5, but sadly, we were missing those corner trigger markers at the vehicle dealer, and we have deducted points before on other maps, so in keeping with consistency there, we're going to do the same here. Now up here in the northeast corner, in the new expanded part of the map, we have another fuel point. We have a large diner custom cell point. And then we have our grain cell point located up here. And that is going to be it. I'd love to hear what you all think down in the comments below of the 4X version of Backroads County. I think it'd be an ideal map for multiplayer. Again, you will need to have that red barn pack if you do wish to upload this map to a multiplayer server. What do you all think? Are you going to play this map in single player? Or are you going to maybe play this map in multiplayer? Again, let me know down in the comments below. Till next time, happy farming.